What's going on, guys? So today is kind of a big day. What we're going to be doing is we are finally going to be cutting these support bars out because we don't need them anymore. We're going to be doing the installation on the inside of the cab here, which I'm sure you can gather from the title. But I started cleaning up the firewall off camera and got this all cleaned up. This is going to get primed and painted here shortly. I'm waiting on some materials. I got the primer today and I got the paint, but I didn't get the activator. It's back ordered, so I'm waiting on that. I got the rust encapsulator through this cowl seam here. We're gonna seam seal that before we get any primer on anything. But once I started cleaning this up just using simple green, I worked my way up and I was like, hey, I may as well just keep going. So got the whole cab, the exterior portion of the cab cleaned up, and it is looking pretty good. So even the back I got cleaned up. So it's all looking very nice. It's a beautiful day today, kind of chilly, but we are going to be working on this. So next step is get this cut out, get this cleaned up, and then I'll show you what we're going to do from there. Going to give all this surface rust a quick brushing. Alright, so while we're waiting for all of that to dry, for the sound insulation, what we're going to be using is this Kilmat. I'll put a link in the description of this. So this what we got, 50 mil thickness. I may do 2 layers in a couple different spots, but overall this was not that expensive, and it comes with 50 square feet of it, I believe. Yes, 50 square feet, which if you're just doing the floor of the cab, it's roughly 5 by 5, so that's 25 square feet. And then I got these tools here to help roll that down. So again, I'll put a link of those in the description as well. So coming over here, actually what I'm doing to explain this is these are not super pliable until you start pressing them down. So figuring out exactly where you want to cut holes and everything isn't the easiest thing to do. It's not that hard, but to make things a little bit easier, what I'm going to do is I cut a template out of just wood, and I'm going to take craft paper and I'm going to cut a bunch of sheets that are roughly this size so that I can use the paper and really easily just quickly poke holes, put it onto my piece of paper on top of this, poke the holes in here where I have it in the paper. I think it's just going to make the process go a little bit quicker. So, okay, so I got about 20 of those cut. I think it's actually about 15, but the rust encapsulator is still just a touch tacky, but not sticky. It's not leaving any residue on my fingers. So we are gonna do some seam sealing and we'll go from there. We're gonna do this part first. All right, seam sealer is done. Pretty much everywhere where I did welding, I put seam sealer. A couple areas in the back corner there as well. A little bit of silicone on that back as well. Cowl portion is drying okay. It's a little thicker there, so it's taking a little longer. And over here, same thing. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get started on the insulation. I'm not gonna probably finish it all today, and I'm gonna work basically where there is no seam sealer. So I'm gonna start in the middle and kind of work my way out and do that for today, and we'll finish the rest tomorrow. I might get more than I think done. We'll see. Well, basically, I think 2 hours later, I got that much in. So, I mean, kind of the straight lines. We're going to be working here. We're going to do all this. We're going to go all the way up the back wall to here. So, I've got my work cut out for me this week. This is where I'm going to call it for tonight. I'm going to finish up tonight. It's still daytime. But tonight, and I will pick this up tomorrow. It's looking good, though. So in areas where it overlaps a little bit, it's not a bad thing, and you're not going to get a ridge, because when you press it down, it's really hard to see, but it flattens right out. So spend a little extra time on areas where it does overlap just a bit, and it's pretty much seamless. Not anything that'll show through the carpet, that's for sure. So that's done. One more to go. All right, well, we got that done. After all of that, this came with, how many did I say? 47 sheets, something like that. This came 50 square feet, 47 sheets. After all this, I have 4 full sheets left. I had 1 sheet that I put down, it wrinkled really bad. I pulled it off and it wasn't really usable. So that went in the trash. So 43, 42 were used. And then less than that, because I have just these 2 like scrap pieces. So 42 were used, and not all of them. So a good majority of them did. Now, when I did this, not only went up the footwell here, but also like into the back corners. I did all the way into there and curled all the way around it. So this is about as done as it's gonna get. Now, with these 4 sheets I have left over, I can do one of 2 things. I can put them, look how purple that is. Anyway, I can do one of 2 things. I can save these and put these in the doors, which I'm considering, or my exhaust comes right through here and dumps right underneath the seat. I'm considering, because that's gonna be hot, putting a double layer there and a double layer there. I just don't think it's gonna make that big of a difference. Whereas if I put at least 1 layer inside the doors, I think that'll make a much more significant difference from a heat dissipation standpoint, keeping the cab nice and cool. If you've looked around my shop in any of my videos, I am a big believer in radiant barrier insulation. For example, it is about 80 something degrees out there today. I don't have air conditioning, I don't even have a fan going, but in here it's like 60. So it works really well for keeping the heat out. So again, putting it on the door will help with that, but again, there's nothing on the ceiling, so that's not gonna help. I think after going through those scenarios in my head and talking them out loud, I am going to put these right here on the floor and get a double layer on those 4 areas, just for a little bit of extra assurance. They make smaller kits of this as well. You don't need the full 50 square foot. You can get, I think they have as little as 20 square feet, and it's like 20 bucks. So I think I'll do that when I do the doors, if I think that it needs it. But let's get these in, and then we'll be wrapping up. All right, guys, it is done. Here we are. Not difficult, but definitely tedious. If you take your time, it'll turn out really nice. I'm happy with how this did. Those areas that I doubled up, nice and flat. Again, that's not going to even show because we're putting carpet, but just a couple little extra areas there. As I pointed out earlier, we did do back into both of these corners all the way around. So not only soundproofing, but keeping some of the heat that the exhaust is going to generate out of the cab, help everything be a little more comfortable, especially since we're not running air conditioning in this truck. So, alrighty, well, perfect. So this is done. I'm actually going to wrap this here, and I'm going to get started on the next video right now. It's still Saturday, kind of early morning, afternoonish. Early morning, late morning, early afternoonish. But what we're going to do next, we're going to get this ready to go. Once this is done, then we'll be ready to put the cab back onto the frame. So hopefully by the end of the weekend, this thing is sitting back on the chassis. So see you later. Thanks for watching.